So brothers and sisters, happy Easter. Christ is risen. We are still celebrating the time of Easter in the church that still comes with this shout that Christ is alive, He's risen. And as we have seen in these previous Sundays, that the Lord, He keeps showing Himself, He keeps manifesting Himself to the disciples, because of course, in the disciples there was this temptation that perhaps all of us may have as well, that is to go back to our old lives, right? To our old business, let's say. As the disciples, they wanted to go back to their nets, to what they were doing before Christ called them. And Christ, He sees this danger, if you want, and He manifests Himself to them, as we've seen in these previous Sundays. And in this Sunday particularly, the Lord, He gives us this analogy of the sheep and the shepherd. My sheep, they listen to my voice, and I know them. Of course, there is a lot that we can say in regards to that gospel, but today I believe that we can ask ourselves, is the Lord really my shepherd? Am I His sheep today? Well, for that, we should ask ourselves first, who am I listening to? You know, in the spiritual life, it's all about listening. We are a consequence in a spiritual life today. You and I, we are a consequence of that which we are listening. It all starts with listening. That's why Jesus in the gospel, He says, you who have ears, listen. You know, always, when He wants to say something that is essentially important, He says, you listen. So much so that the core prayer of the Jewish people, which is the Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, you shall love the Lord your God with all your mind, with all your soul. That prayer starts with the Shema, which in Hebrew is listen. You shall listen, Israel. The Lord is your God. You shall love. So it's almost as if the first commandment was really to listen, because that's very important. Because everything starts with listening in the spiritual life. Sometimes we may think that we have to do so many things. We live our spiritual life in such pragmatic way that we have to do things. When in fact, the only thing, if you really want to know, that we have to do is to listen. It's like the Virgin Mary. The only thing, if you wanted, that the Virgin Mary had to do, of course, besides of the yes, but before the yes, she had to listen. She had to listen. The angel came, she listened, she had the ears tuned up, if you want, to the will of God, and then the yes comes, right? And then God does everything. That's why my sheep, they listen to my voice. This to listen the voice of the shepherd, because true, who am I listening to today? The fathers of the church, they say that if I am not listening to God, I'm listening to the devil. And not only the devil, because we have three major enemies, if you want, which is not only the devil, but also the flesh and also the world. Because perhaps it could be that I'm not listening to the shepherd today. Pope Francis said, that the shepherd has to have the smell of the sheep, and it is true. But also the sheep has to have the smell of the shepherd. Do I have the smell of Christ today in me? Do I know Him? Because He knows me, but do I know Him? Am I listening to Him? And how do I know whether I'm listening to Him or not? Well, the consequences of my life today. Am I preoccupied? Am I fearful? Am I anxious, full of anxieties, anger? All those things are symptoms that I'm not listening to Christ. I'm not listening to the Holy Spirit. I'm not listening to my shepherd. Why? Because it means that something lacks. And if it lacks, it means that the Lord is not my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I shall lack for nothing. So it means that if I'm lacking something, it means that the Lord is not my shepherd. And if the Lord is not my shepherd, it means I'm not listening to Him. You see, it's a beautiful word, brothers. It's a beautiful analogy. Then He says also that no one will snatch them up from me. No one will take them from me, which is true, because we belong to Christ. But of course, there's only one thing that can take us away from Him, which is ourselves. It's our own will. Today I can choose not to listen. Today I can choose not to belong to Him. But He will always be there with us. He will always be there fighting for us. And that's the good news as well of being a sheep of Christ, because He will always go for the lost sheep. Always. Even if today you were lost, He will always go after you, because He loves you, because He cares for you, because He's risen, because He gave His life for you. It was not only a joke. It was not only something nice to do, the crucifixion, the passion. No, it was something that he did for you, out of love for you, for whatever you've been living through today. He's there giving his life. Touch, it's me. Thomas, touch it. It's me. Look at my wounds. It's me. I am your shepherd. Look at me. So I believe this word helps us to enter in this time of Easter. So brothers and sisters, courage, let us enter into this time of Easter looking at the Lord who is risen, who is alive, who comes as our shepherd today. May God bless you all.